You're listening to the Adventure Sports Podcast. Thanks for adventuring with us as we discover what incredible athletes and outdoor enthusiasts are doing all over the world. Now here's your host, Curt Linville.
Hello, friends, and happy Groundhog Day. It's kind of funny, we recorded this episode before I went to Tanzania to climb Kilimanjaro. And of course, in this episode, we talk about getting ready to go to Tanzania to climb Kilimanjaro. So Groundhog Day kind of makes sense, all the repeats. You know, you are what makes the Adventure Sports Podcast worth doing. You, the listeners, we're so thankful for you. When you hear an episode that you find compelling, please do share it with a friend. That helps us, it helps the podcast, and we're very, very appreciative. And then make sure that you're getting out and doing your own fun, and let us know about it when you do. You can always reach us at info@adventuresportspodcast.com. You can also visit with us on the Discord server, and the link to that changes from time to time, so I'm going to update it in the show notes. Today's episode is not just about planning for adventures today, but it's about planning for an adventure-focused lifestyle for the long haul. This one's going to be great, so let's dive into the episode. Hey friends, today we have Curt and Cindy Liljedahl with us, and they have been on the Adventure Sports Podcast a couple of times, and I was trying to remember if I interviewed them. I know this sounds really weird, but when I listened to a show that some other host did, I remember the show, but I don't remember if I was in it or not. So anyway, turns out that they've been on the Adventure Sports Podcast a couple of times with Mason, not with me, but I'm excited to get a chance to visit with them. The first time they were on was in 2019, and then they were on again in 2020, and so it's been 5 years. Yeah. Where does the time go?
Yeah.
That is crazy. But their focus is on adventure-focused retirement. Yeah. And I wanted to visit with them about what they have going on in their retirement, because they do so much travel and so many adventurous types of things in their travel. You know, sometimes you hear of people that are retired and they like, well, we go to Europe and we stay in a nice hotel. That I think that Curt and Cindy are going to let us know that you can do things a lot more adventurously than that. So,
right. Don't get me wrong,
anyway.
I like a nice hotel. Yeah.
Nice hotel's okay from time to time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Curt and Cindy, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to do things like this.
Oh, it is. And Curt and Cindy have their own podcast as well, by the way. It's Adventure Retired. So just Advent 2, like adventure, but then retired.
Yeah, the word adventure.
Or you could say Adventure Tired if you wanted to.
That's right.
We say Adventure Retired.
But, yeah.
Because it spells the same way. Anyway, they have their own podcast, and that's really fun because it gives you the perspective of not only what they're doing, but other people that they meet along the way in their travels and stuff like that. So, but we wanted to talk kind of in two ways. I want to talk about adventure in retirement, but I also want to talk to people that are young, who are building their careers and building their families, and who are thinking about what would adventure look like later in life, and what can I do now so that later in life I can have those adventures. So we'll do both things. So this is going to be, I mean, the Adventure Sports Podcast reaches all ages. It really does. And we are about half what I would call young adults, and then half what I would call middle-aged or older adults. And so this is for everybody. Curt and Cindy, when you first contacted me about this, you wanted to talk about another adventure that you did that was really unique in Peru. Correct. We might as well just start there.
All right.
So it was Sacred Valley, Peru, and Sky Lodge Adventure Suites.
Right.
And I'll let you explain all of this, but my first question is, why Sacred Valley? What did they? Do you know what that was about? Why they call it Sacred Valley?
When we get an urge to travel, I should say Curt is the one that does all the planning. And that's fine, because in every family, somebody does the planning and somebody else is the encourager.
Shows up at the airport.
I'm the encourager. I'm like, okay, no. But I also like to get on social media and look at that area that we're going to. And I saw on Facebook, or must have been Pinterest, about Sacred Valley. And I told her, I said, because our goal was to go to Machu Picchu, right? Because I wanted to see Machu Picchu. He'd already been there, and I wanted to see it. I said, Curt, is Sacred Valley on the way? And he's like, yeah, we go right through it. And I'm like, well, then I want to do the Sacred Valley experience. And he's like, really?
The adventure pod. And I had seen him 12 years ago when I took my mother to Machu Picchu. And you're driving and you're looking up and seeing these pods on the side of a cliff. And I'm thinking, that's the coolest thing in the world. But my wife wouldn't do that. Well, 12 years later, she sees them on Pinterest and says, ooh, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and I
describe
really-
what we're talking about. Sky Lodge. These are glass pods hanging on the side of a cliff way up above the valley.
400
Right?
meters.
But describe this to us.
Okay, well, the valley is beautiful.
Yeah, the Sacred Valley is beautiful. It's kind of between Cusco and Machu Picchu.
And
Okay.
the pods, there are 4 of them, and they're
400 meters above the ground.
right. And
Wow.
you have
Right
to,
on a sheer cliff.
you climb a ladder, like rungs of a ladder, the entire way up.
Yeah, they have rebar
Wow.
ladders into the side of the mountain that they've drilled and then glued these rebars in there. And so you have a ladder that you're climbing and you're double attached in. There's a cable that runs beside it and you have a belt on and you have 2 carabiners that you hook over this cable. So
About every 10.
about to every 10
Yeah.
feet. So the worst thing that if you fell and you're doing everything correctly, you would only fall like 10 feet. And you have
Okay.
helmets on and everything, but you're just climbing and then you take one off and put it over the little thing that's in the side of the
Support.
mountain. And then you take the other one off and do it. You're always clipped in once. They stress
Right.
that to you.
Right. And
Right.
there's one area where you get up to like halfway up there and you actually are on the side of the cliff and you have to go sideways, and so you're just like on a bridge that's 3 cables wide.
Yeah.
And you go across like maybe
You're
20,
holding one here in
maybe
your
20
hand.
feet.
Oh, yeah, 20,
30
25 feet.
And you're
You scooch
Yeah,
across.
you scooch across, and
You know.
And
so
you're
that
way up there.
you're way up there.
You are way
yeah.
up there. Like I said, we calculated, 400 meters, and about every 10 meters is you have to change things.
clips.
So we did roughly 1,200 ladder climbs.
Oh,
And,
wow.
yeah, it was
Rungs
good.
of the ladder.
Yeah,
rungs
yeah.
of the ladder, and some of them you are literally
Upside down,
going backwards and coming up over a thing. So
a ledge.
yeah, if you were to let go with your
Wow.
feet, they're going to swing out.
Yeah, yeah.
But we felt very safe at it.
Yeah, sometimes you have to actually hook your arm in one of the rungs so
Yeah.
that you're safe,
Yeah.
and then you climb up and you hook your arm again, and it was just amazing.
And she's not a big height person.
Yeah.
She's not.
But I'm not scared of heights. I'm the one that works out for this. So I started working out. I knew this was going to be a hard thing physically. We're 64 years old. So, it's not like we're in our 30s and 40s doing this. So
Which the other 2 couples that went with us they weren't friends of ours, but they were doing it. Yeah, one married couple was in their 20s. They were from Italy.
no, they were from Miami.
They were Miami, and the other couple was in their 30s, and they were from Italy.
Yeah, and so
And they just right
they
up.
were a little faster than we were, but we were like, I wanted to also. I mean, you can go up fast, but I wanted to go up and like every 10 feet, I want to turn around and look. So that's the kind of person I am. Even when we went down the Grand Canyon, I need to stop and look because we're 64. I'm never going to do this again. Maybe I want to see, and I want to remember the sights that I'm seeing. And it was beautiful.
It was.
We had the most perfect day. It
We
was
did.
beautiful out. The temperature was great, and every time I stopped to turn around and look, it was a different view. I swear I changed totally every time.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
So this is in Peru,
Yes.
Yes.
and Peru gets really high up, but I don't know where you were in relation. So what was the elevation? Do you know?
The elevation for this, it's kind of interesting because everybody thinks Machu Picchu is so high, but that's only at like 600 or 6,000 meters, Machu Picchu. It looks like it's clear up there, but it's not. And so we were roughly 6,000 to 7,000 meters in the Sacred Valley. You're by the town of Olatambo, and which is once again is kind of weird because you just came from Cusco, which is at 11,000 meters.
A lot higher.
It's one of the
Are
highest.
we talking meters or feet? I'm getting confused.
No, excuse me.
You're right. It's feet.
It's
I
feet.
think it's feet.
Yeah, it's feet.
Not feet, not meters.
So the reason is because 11,000 meters would be higher than Everest.
Yeah,
So that
no,
one,
it's
that was-
meters. It's not meters.
Right.
For-
But we climbed 400 meters. So,
right.
right.
And so, which is like 1,300 feet, more or
Right.
less. I tell you what, the rest of the world puts all of the elevations in meters. And since we talk feet, it's always confusing
Yeah.
on the podcast.
It is.
Right? It's always confusing.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've had this conversation. But, so you're saying it was like 7,000 feet.
Right.
So you're up there,
yeah.
Yeah.
but it's not above, like into the thin air, above
No,
tree
no.
line.
Not at
None
all.
whatsoever.
No.
Now,
Okay.
Cusco is, because it was at 11,000 feet. A lot of people get altitude sickness at Cusco,
Yeah.
which is basically where you came from that morning.
This
Go ahead.
place is so cool when you book this excursion. They actually, they pick you up at your hotel, which
Yeah.
is great. So we drove for about 2 hours to
Yeah.
get there. And they have like a 20-minute class. And they tell you what you're going to do in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
Wow.
you already start. And this is in the afternoon. They had done one in the morning, but they didn't stay overnight. They just went up there and
Yeah,
had
they
a
go
meal.
up and then zip line down. Where we
But-
went
Okay.
up and then stay the night and then zip line down the
And
next
there's
morning.
the 4 pods. 3 of them are sleeping pods, and the 4th pod is bigger, and that's where they actually cook a gourmet meal for you
Yeah.
twice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so
Once when you get up there, you go there for dinner, and then you go back to your pod and you
Spend
do
the
what you
night.
want. And then the next morning at breakfast, you go over to this pod and they serve you a great breakfast. But they're very safe about it. Anytime you are going out of your pod, you have a radio that you got to radio the guys who are staying in the dinner area. You radio them, said, Curt and Cindy are going up on the roof to look at stars. And they say, okay, buckle in. And so we buckle in, and I know they were keeping an eye on us too, but
Right.
it's
Yeah.
very safe, very
Yeah.
safe.
And of course, we had to stay in the pod that was the tallest or the
Highest.
highest, right? So we're up there, and we get up there, and it's about 6 o'clock at night now because we started about 4:30.
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah, and so when it took about an hour and a half to climb it. So we get up there, it's dark already. So you have your headlights on. And so then we go to our pod and kind of relax for a few minutes. And then dinner's going to be like at 7 and it's pitch black. And so now you got to do all the climbing from your pod over to the bigger pod
Which is
in the
about,
dark.
yeah, that's about 20 yards or so.
But it felt like a million.
Yeah.
And you're up there
Yeah.
Yeah.
in
and
the
that-
void.
And we're in the pod that's of course the highest one, and so we kind of had to do that backwards climb again, where you're kind of bending over backwards to get over to the other
Wow.
one, and that was kind of scary because that
And being pitch black
it
didn't
is
help.
so dark. You don't look at your feet, you look at your hands, and okay, you hope your feet are finding a rung, and
Yeah.
it's
Well, I have their website here, and I pulled it up just so I could look at it. And I want to tell the listeners, if you're at a computer, then you do need to see this.
Yeah.
These pods are all glass, so you
Plexiglass.
sleep in them or have your dinner in them, and
Nope.
you're looking out across the
Nope.
valley,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean they're just hanging on this cliff face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were so cool because they had, the pod itself, you get into it, you come in through it. There's like a little, they have storage, so there's games and stuff so you can play, like if you want to play cribbage or cards. And then there's a 2 beds that are lower, and then a huge, big queen size or king size bed that's at the very edge. So that's where we slept. But 4 people could actually sleep in this pod.
Right.
So if you brought
Wow.
family members, but then on the other end, there's a bathroom. And that was the one thing that people always ask us, what did you do about the bathroom? And well, you open up the bathroom and there is a toilet, right? And then there is a urinal that looks like
Kind of a funnel.
weird to say.
Funnel.
But what happens is, of course, men can use the urinal and it just goes right off the side of the mountain. And when the women have to use the bathroom, there's like a little What do you call
Bowl.
that? Yeah.
A bowl.
But we used to have pots when they're old days.
A bowl.
Okay, well, there's a pot you put into the toilet, and there is an actual toilet there.
a honey pot.
A honey pot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you put this honey pot into the toilet, and of course it catches the urine, and then you pour that down.
The funnel
urinal.
area.
Oh, wow.
And then if you have to use it for something else, you have to bag it, and there's no way anybody does anything else, I swear. So you just make sure it's pee and that's it, But
Well, if you have to do it, you go into a plastic bag and then you seal it up, and they have another tube that you drop it down there. And those
you
guys,
don't have to mess
they,
with it.
they will carry it down.
But I was like, that ain't gonna happen, That is not gonna happen. But
Well, it's nice to know. I mean, people are going to have these questions.
yeah.
It's like, what do you do about that?
and there's running water. I mean, there's a little sink that has pressure that actually has water. Well, it was like a water
Yeah,
jug.
it's a pump, yeah.
Yeah, and they bring the water in on their back.
Yeah, our photographer that morning, the morning we were there, he had climbed back up because he was going to take pictures of us all, and he's got one of those 10-gallon things in his backpack, and he climbed up this.
The ladder.
Of course, they're good. These
Man.
boys climb it like 3 times a day.
They're getting strong.
Yeah.
Well, I asked them, how long does it take you? And they're like, half an hour, 40 minutes.
Took us an hour and a half.
Yeah. It took,
Well, were you tired? I mean,
The funny thing, this is why I love this, Curt, because the next day, Curt could barely walk.
my thighs were killing me.
Me, not
Yeah.
a problem. I was perfect.
Yeah.
Cindy, you said you were training for
I
this,
did.
right?
I was working out
She was
before.
going with a personal trainer
and
too, yeah.
I had absolutely no problems.
It's just my thighs
Wow.
were screaming the next day.
We went to Vancouver Island and went to, it's Wild Play, I guess is what they call it now. It's changed names so many times, I forget. But it's a ropes course high up in the trees, and you do zip lines and all sorts of games up there, balance games and stuff. And we wanted my new son-in-law to see it because it was his first time to be up there. So we went back, and we spent 2 or 3 hours, I guess, up in the trees like a bunch of monkeys. And I was spanked by the time we were done. But we didn't do anything like the elevation that you did. I'm thinking about climbing a 1,300-foot long ladder.
Yeah.
It really was.
Wow,
It just was
that's a lot of chin-ups.
It was so
It was.
cool.
And like I said, my thighs were killing me the next day.
I felt really
It was-
good that I could rub
But we
that
were
in.
tired. You're going to sleep good that night because you had a good workout.
Well, it sounds fun.
That night was so windy. We wanted to go up out of the pod and sit on the top. It's kind of like a deck that you could sit on and watch the stars. But it was so windy that it was just really windy.
Yeah.
So finally about 1 o'clock it stopped, and we kind of woke up then and just looked at the stars, and that we didn't go outside that night. It just it was just too
much.
Yeah, I didn't want to blow off the
But it was
side.
beautiful weather other than that, climbing it,
Yeah, the next day you get up and you had this great breakfast. I mean, these guys are really good cooks. They make this breakfast for you. It's got everything you would want. I mean, everything. And then you take off, you go pack your backpack, whatever you have, and everybody starts going up again. You climb just a little bit up, and then you go around the cliff that you're on. And then there's 7 zip lines right back to the parking lot.
Yeah.
That's great. So you zip line kind of zigzag or down the cliff? Is that the way it
Around the
works?
cliff.
Very much so.
Yeah.
That one, one of them east, one of the
and
west.
these are big zip lines.
Yeah,
I
one of
mean,
them, 740 feet or
yeah,
something like that.
they're huge. I mean, they take they almost take like half a minute to a minute. Sometimes zip lines just go so fast and you're
Right.
there. This one, you actually have time to look around, and one of them you have to do tandem because the weight
Yeah.
is, they got to make sure you get there because it's kind of more of a
Gradual.
gradual. So it was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
I love zip lining, period. And we have zip lined in almost every country we've gone to. And,
Really?
yeah, we just you always worry about if there's safety, but we have never had safety issues in any of them.
Nope.
They've always been very upright and concerned about safety,
Yeah.
and I love zip lining, and they
Like-
offered me a job, and I
Yeah.
almost took it, but I thought I better come home. I was like, oh man.
Like I said, I couldn't say enough about the young men that went up there and were our
guides.
you know, and chefs, and they were wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, and one of them, it was his last climb, and then he was moving back to Venezuela.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah, he'd been there 8 years, and he was going back, and that was neat.
It was really cool.
Man, so that's called Sky Lodge Adventure Suites.
Yep.
Yes.
And there's two different kinds. There's the one that we did, which is more Sky Lodge, and then you go around the mountain, not very much
Down the Sacred Valley a little, and there's the Star Lodge.
And the Star Lodge are not as high, and you actually climb down steps to get to them.
Yeah, well, there's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have steps there. It's more for, I guess, people our age.
Yeah,
but,
older.
If you don't, it's they still snap you in and everything. But that one's fancier. I'm sure it costs a little more because one of their pods there has a hot tub. So the people,
wow.
I know.
They can go out of their little sleeping pod and go sleep or go to the hot tub. You know.
I told Curt we're going to do that when we're 70.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to do that one.
This is a beautiful example of, an adventurous thing to do. And I'm impressed. I'm going to say it. I'm impressed. You aren't old yet, but you're not spring chickens either.
Right.
You're right.
This is impressive at, you said 64?
Yep, we're
Yeah.
64.
We asked them what the oldest one up, and they said they had a 73-year-old guy do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
There are a lot of, I'll call them aging athletes in the valley where we are. And what I have observed is that there's no reason you can't do amazing big adventures as you age, as long as you don't stop.
Right.
That's right.
If you ever stop doing it, it won't take long before you won't be able to do it.
That's
Exactly.
I think that is the key. And, Curt, as you age, and this is for all your younger people, everybody always asks us, because we did retire pretty young. We retired at 54. And everybody asks us, well, what is the best thing? What do I need to do to retire? The best thing is your health.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. Right? So if you can at 54 or 53 or 45, start to keep your health in check in terms of working out or walking, just doing something physical.
Moving. Yeah, moving.
It makes your retirement so much sweeter.
Yeah.
That's well said.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this for the younger adults in the program. If they want to have an adventure-focused lifestyle in their retirement years, what should they be doing now? That's the question.
My opinions, max your Roth IRAs out and max your regular IRAs out. Just, I'm not saying live like a miser while you're working, because even when we were working, we took great vacations and we went to Europe and stuff like that with our kids. But you got to plan for this stage of life, because it would not be fun to get to this stage and you don't have enough money to travel,
And we were 2 school teachers. It's not like we made $100,000 each, for our career. We were 2 school teachers, and
start early.
We tell our own kids, even if it's $100 a month, you can put away. It will pay off in the long run.
Yeah.
So, start early. And the other thing Curt always said is same house, same wife.
Same house, same spouse.
But
some people don't have a choice
but
about
yeah,
that.
sometimes you don't have a choice about that. But, when we were in the young, let's say the 30s and 40s, a lot of our friends were building and going into bigger homes and that kind of a thing.
Right.
We had a really beautiful house. We had a swimming pool in our backyard that we put in. But, if you can get your house and be comfortable in your house and not have that envy of
Keeping
always
up with the
trying to
Joneses.
be,
Right.
to add in or what, it does make a difference in the long run, because I think envy is the hardest thing to overcome when you see your friends buying the motorcycles or the speedboats and all that. We decided to focus ours on saving for the future, and then also we took great trips in the summer. As teachers, we had summers off, and so we said, you know what? If we save all year long, we're going to be able to to go to the national parks. And we had a little camper that we had, and we had it for years. And, we did things, we tried to live within our means, and it just saving a lot. I mean, just trying to save as much as we could.
That's
to
good
give
advice.
you an idea, the Sky Lodges, we were in a package that I had a travel company line up, but I think they're right at $950 to $1,000
For a night.
for a night. So,
yeah.
I mean, but how often do you get to do something like that?
Right.
So it's not cheap, but if you want to, like I said, the other couples were a lot younger than us and they were doing it.
Yep.
So.
And I think too, if you book it yourself and not go through a company, it's probably a little bit cheaper.
Probably.
We went through a company. I would tell young people, you first of all focus on your family and your health, and then try to start the saving, because that investing, for the long run is when it pays off. And we had a couple years where it was, we're in the 80s, was it when the stock market crashed, and you see all this money going out the window and you're like, oh my God, but it recovers, and it comes around. And so
It comes back.
Listen to some good podcasts about that.
I want to say something too and get your perspective on this. It's easy to see the shiny new fill in the blank. And when you do get something that is new and shiny and fun, then it is exciting.
Right.
But in my experience, that excitement wanes fairly quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, I spent how much on this?
Yeah.
And now I've got to take care of this shiny thing, or what do I do with it? Or it's taking up space, and I'm not saying don't have good fun
Toys.
things.
Yeah.
Right.
Toys. I mean, I'm not saying don't do it, but I am saying if we can look past the initial excitement to what it's going to be long term. And the hardest part for this is probably the house itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you look at the house and you think, oh man, if we just lived there, we'd be happy.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, that doesn't work. The happiness doesn't come from the things. It's just a distraction, and they will distract you. It is fun. They can be exciting, but that's not long-term happiness.
Right.
And long-term happiness, Cindy, it's what you said. It's family.
Yeah.
It's health.
Memories.
Kurt and I have
Memories.
always been the type that we had common dreams, and we talked about things that we wanted to do. And so, if you don't have that conversation with the person that you're living with or your spouse, if you don't say, okay, this is what I want in the future, what do we need to get there? Then if you're only just thinking about right now, you don't have those goals. And so that sacrifice doesn't happen. But when you have a goal and you say, okay, we want to retire when we're 50s. All right, so what do we have to do for that? Well, we were working, he was a coach and a teacher. I was a teacher, and I worked at the university part-time, and I had tutoring business. Every little thing is all going to a goal. And that goal,
Right.
you got to have those goals in line.
Common goals.
Yeah. And you got to start dreaming when you're young. Okay, I want to do this, and
Okay, what would you say to a couple who start to share their dreams a little bit? They're like, well, my goals would be, these are like my bucket list items. What are yours? What if those are completely different buckets?
That's a good point, because
we've talked to people like that.
yeah, we've talked to people like that on our podcast, but sometimes you got to negotiate, like one of the first adventure we did in retirement, I wanted to go to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and she was kind of iffy on that because it's a hike, but she wanted to do it. She was scared about it, nervous about it, but she wanted to do it. So if you have a spouse that gets you out of your comfort zone, don't draw that hard line. Give it a shot. I'm not saying do stupid things. Don't do stupid things, but you have to give in and compromise,
Yeah, compromise is a lot of it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think too, if we're lucky, because Kurt's the planner and I'm just the encourager. I mean, that's how I see my life. I don't want to plan because I can screw up the computer just turning it on,
The calculator.
I've actually booked us tickets to movies, and we get to the theater and it's for the next day, And so, I know I screw up. So, that kind of thing. So it's good that he knows how to do that. But I think a lot of it is just having goals, think about your life, when you're young, think about your life. What do you want your life to look like when you're in your 40s? What do you want it to look like when you're 50? What do you want it to look like when you're 60? And my dad, a lot of our retirement early was because I knew my dad retired at 62 in November and found out he was dying of cancer in January.
Oh, no.
And I mean, it's been, it's still hard, and it's been over 20 years. I did not want that. And we had friends that never even made it to retirement,
Right.
So I told Curt, I said, as soon as we can retire, I want to retire.
Or didn't make it to retirement together.
Yes.
That's an important
Yeah, that happens
part
too.
Yeah.
It does.
And I said, I feel I could go at any time now and I would die a wonderful, happy person because I've done so much in my retirement already.
Yeah.
I feel,
That's nice. That's a beautiful thing to be able to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is.
To be able to say, this has been a good life. I have done the things, not that I'm going to stop, but if I had to stop, I could be satisfied.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, there's just so much that so many people, and as you grow older, you see this. You see friends that we have a friend that just lost his daughter at 31. It's just horrible, and I'm just like, we're so blessed that we were able to do what we have done, and that we're planning to do because we got more things on the burner.
On the
and-
list.
Well, let's talk about Venn diagrams for a second. Mm-hmm. So
Sound like a
you
teacher.
Yeah, I know, right?
We're teachers,
What's
right?
in the middle there.
I told Curt and Cindy that I was a teacher years ago myself. So the Venn diagram is like you draw the circles, right, that overlap or don't overlap. And it's like, okay, things that I'm interested in, my bucket list, things that, and there are going to be things on there that you might say, well, I would do it if it was convenient. It's not a big goal, but it's something that I could see myself saying, all right, I'll do that. But if you draw the Venn diagrams and they overlap, some people overlap a lot. I can tell by talking to you that you have a lot of overlap in your Venn diagrams. And some people maybe just barely overlap, and then it's kind of like, why did you get married? No, I'm sorry. I don't want to go there. But I guess the thing I wanted to say about it is that as your life experiences increase because you try new things, your Venn diagram gets bigger, and you'll find more overlap than you expected,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to do the thing you wouldn't have chosen, but you're doing it because you're doing it with the person you care about,
Right.
then you say, you know what, that was all right.
Yeah.
You can have fun doing anything together if you know how to get along.
Yeah.
But how much have your Venn diagrams expanded over the years? Because right now I can tell by talking to you that you guys have a lot of alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I think, just with the Adventure Retired podcast, when we talk to these people from all over the world and we hear other people's adventures, we're like, okay, that sounds like fun.
Our bucket list keeps growing.
It does. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I would like to do a hot air balloon ride in Africa.
Wow.
But, then I'm thinking, okay, I guess I will do a hot air ride in Iowa. I mean, I don't where we are now, but I just want to do a hot air ride,
Yeah.
a hot air balloon.
Hot air balloon, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that we still want to do.
Yeah, not slowing down yet. What was it our friend said? Don't sit too soon.
Yeah. Don't sit too soon.
Yeah.
Don't sit too soon. Well, one thing that I heard from this was a travel expert who was writing books on helping people to get out and do things, which you're experts at it now because you've done so much of it. But what she said was never have one trip on the calendar. You always have to have two.
Oh, yeah.
Curt has 4 or 5. I was like,
Yes. Well, good for you, Curt. But
Yeah, I know.
it gives you something to look forward to. So when you finish the one, I mean, people have adventure withdrawals. It's
Right.
like, oh, man, I worked so hard to do this, and now it's over. Now what?
I know, right?
It's so good to know. Oh, and we're going to Africa, which you
Right.
just mentioned. You are going to
we
Africa,
are going
right?
to Africa in
Yeah.
June.
What is that trip about?
Oh, that was a neat.
that's another guest.
Yeah, that's a guest on our podcast. She's a former teacher, and now she travels with teachers and lines them up. Yeah, she had this Africa trip planned, and
Only 7. What was
17 people.
17
going on
people
it.
were going.
So
So we signed up
Wow.
early.
it's actually we're through Colette, so it's going to be a nice. I mean, that's not a cheap travel company,
Yeah.
And
It's 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks, and it's going to be fun going and doing the safaris and seeing the falls and Victoria Falls, and
Yeah.
I think it'll be neat.
Yeah.
You know.
So
Yeah, that'll be fantastic. Have you been to Africa before?
never. Well,
We went to Morocco when we were in Spain. We wanted to jump across the Gibraltar and go to
Sure.
Morocco. And so our foreign exchange daughter, who we were staying with, her parents said, "Well, can we go?" And like, they've lived there in southern Spain their whole life, but they'd never been to Africa right across.
Wow. Okay.
And so we did, and we had a blast. We were just there for an afternoon, but we were,
Yeah.
feet down on the continent. So
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. So when are you going to Africa?
June and July.
Yeah,
End
June,
of
the
June.
last week of June, first week of July.
I went to Africa 32 years ago and fell in love with it, and I'm going back
Oh, good.
in 3 weeks.
Good.
Oh, fun. We'll have to hear about that.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
by the time this episode comes out, I will have already been probably. So
Yeah.
And where are you going?
I'm going to Tanzania.
Okay.
There are a group of gentlemen who are climbing Mount Kilimanjaro,
Oh, nice.
and the ages range from about 45 to 72. There are 15 of us.
Oh, fun.
And so we're going to be trudging up the mountain to
I
19349,
would
whatever
like
it
to
is,
go.
193
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be quite the experience. And everyone is curious if they can do it or not.
Right.
We all have our thing.
That's one of those adventures, kind of like the ladder, the Sacred Valley. Once you get into it, you don't want to say I'm done, and not make the
Right.
goal. So you just one foot after the
Yeah,
other.
the adrenaline takes over.
Yeah.
It's like running. When I used to
hate
be
running.
he hates to run, but I used to run. When you get to if you're doing like a half marathon, you get to those last 3 miles or even a full marathon, then it's the adrenaline. You're spent, but man, you can see
Right.
the end. And I think a lot of adventures that are physical, it's like that when you see yourself at the end, and just keep that in mind. You'll be fine.
Kilimanjaro would be cool.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
I saw Kilimanjaro from Kenya, actually, when on my first trip. I saw it off on the horizon, and I said, I'll be back.
Right.
I never expected it would be,
Wonderful.
32 years later, but
Yeah.
That's
that's the way it
true.
turned out.
And where do
Yeah.
those years go,
Yeah.
I have had so much fun during those years. If I think about it, I'm just going to give an example, and I hope everyone listening will bear with me here, but I think that it's worthwhile to do this. It was fall, and the snow's starting to fly, and I remember it was a few years ago, and I thought, man, I just didn't get a summer this year. I just didn't do the things. And so I started thinking about what did I do? And I listed all the adventures that we had done. And I thought, no, I'm wrong. I had a fantastic summer. I can't believe what we did.
Right.
And it's easy to not take time to remember.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
true.
if you do take time to remember, I think it makes you grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow, no, we did do the things. I'm not done for the summer, but,
Yeah.
And that's where the 32 years went, Cindy. I had so much fun with my family doing the things. And for us, it was backpacking in 14ers a lot.
Right.
We did some travel as a family. We did rock climbing and got deep into mountain biking. My sons all raced on the high school teams. And just when I started thinking about all the camping trips, all the mountain biking, all of the, and then in the wintertime, we keep doing the mountaineering in the wintertime.
Yeah.
We do alpine touring, skiing, and ski at the resort, and cross-country ski, and we go winter backpacking. And I just thought, man, it's been 30 years just packed full of amazing experiences.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's what we told you about. We climbed the Sky Lodge. 2 other things there on that same trip. We went to the Galapagos Islands and then to Easter Island,
yeah.
and those were amazing places too. Not so much adventure, but Easter Island, just getting to a place where very, very few people go and seeing the large moai statues.
So cool.
Right.
And then Galapagos Islands, as a former biology teacher, part of my career, seeing the giant tortoises was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
And to tell all your listeners too, the older you get, the faster it goes. I mean, I look back and I think, I don't even remember that. I don't remember that year at all.
Yeah.
Okay, the year after we got married, or, I don't remember one thing about that, It just, life goes so fast. And the older you are, it's like, before you know it, it's Christmas. Before you know it, it's summer. It goes fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just took our Christmas tree down, and now I'm putting one back up again.
Exactly. I know.
I'm like, wait a minute. I just took this down. It's like making the bed.
Yeah.
I know. It is.
It's going to be Christmas next year. Just leave it there.
It'll be a blink. That way we don't have to redecorate.
Right. That's right.
Well, part of what makes it not go so fast, Cindy, is taking the time to remember.
Yeah.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
To take and actually get out a piece of paper and write it down. But
Photo books.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
do a quick photo book online.
I'm trying.
And you have it.
I'm trying to talk him into, when we come back from Texas in March, to go to April if the Eagles are still playing in the Dome in Las Vegas.
Sphere.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like Las Vegas, and it's okay. I mean, we don't gamble or anything like that.
You do, and you lose
$20.
all the time.
Okay. Anyway, I want to go see them, And I keep thinking, I was thinking, I just haven't seen that many great concerts, And then I did what you said. I listed down who I've seen, and my page just kept getting large. And I'm like, oh yeah, I saw ZZ Top. Okay, all right. I saw. I'm thinking all of these people I've seen. I think, well, I haven't seen the Eagles. I want to see the Eagles, And
well, it's interesting that you said the Sphere. Curt, we're on the same page. The Curts agree. I would pay money not to go to Las Vegas, but when they built the Sphere, I thought, I would love to see a really great concert.
I know.
That might be worth it.
Yeah,
that might be worth it.
Went, and they said there's not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah.
Not a cheap seat either, but
once in a lifetime thing, you don't have to ever go back to that again, but you get to see it, and I think that would be cool.
That's amazing. I read a few of the stats on it when I first heard about it, and they do things like they have technology that focuses the sound on each individual seat.
Wow.
Amazing.
So it's actually directionalized sound, and so there really is not a bad seat in the house.
Yeah.
It's like everybody has the best seat in the venue.
Oh,
Wow.
see, you're just adding to it right there. I think it's
You see, and then the screens all around you, and
Yeah.
just I can't imagine.
No,
But
I can't either.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
It does. Yeah. You
Anyway.
you don't have to leave the States to see something cool. You can do things right here in America that is just amazing.
Right.
to be fair to the great folks in Las Vegas, there's a lot more to Las Vegas than the Strip.
That's
There is
right.
so much more, and such great adventure sports that you can do in the area. And matter of fact, Alex Honnold lives there, and he was saying that he loves it because world-class rock climbing is so close.
Right.
He can just get to any of it.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't shortchange
Right.
Las Vegas just
Right.
because of one 6-block, 10-block long
Yeah,
section of
that's a hard-
town.
Yeah.
If you don't gamble, if you're not that type of person, and what I just don't like is the smoke. Every casino you go to is smoky, and I don't like that.
Back to these islands.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the islands. You did Machu Picchu, Easter Island, and the Galapagos, and I thought, okay, there's 3 things that a lot of people think about doing. They're all different, but I was curious, is there one that stood out? You're like, absolutely, you got to do that one. That was better than the others? Or are they all 3 worth doing? Or how do you compare these things?
They're not close to each other, but I think,
All 3
it
of
depends on the person, but all 3 of them, yeah.
All
The
3.
Moai out there at Easter Island is just majestic.
And that island itself is amazing.
Yeah.
It's small. You don't see trash anywhere.
Right.
It is spotless.
Yeah.
And
They have a
it is
lot of pride.
Beautiful.
And, pride in the people and all that. It was phenomenal seeing that and hearing the history of it.
And the Galapagos, that was gorgeous too.
Yeah, when you see a pasture that has cows out in it and then 4 or 5 of these giant tortoises just walking around free. They're just free roam. And they tell us, how do they get out of the pasture? Well, the farmers will keep the top 2 barbed wire fences tight and the bottom one is loose so the tortoise can walk up to it and it goes over them. So
All right.
the
There you
cows
go.
stay in and the tortoises can roam as they want. And it's just,
Oh, that's something.
and being up close to those tortoises is just
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
And some of the oldest living things on Earth, as
That's
far as
right.
animals are concerned. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, and we, people think about the tortoises, but we didn't realize, there's the Galapagos is like 19 islands, and each island had its own tortoise.
Its own species.
Yeah, and I didn't
because of
see
the
that's something we
separation.
didn't know,
Yeah.
and they're different. They look different. They're different, and it's just so cool.
They're
and we,
doing wonderful breeding programs
yeah,
too
They are.
of the tortoises.
It's really neat.
because
Ecuador is
they
beautiful.
got some out of the 15 or 18 species. There's a couple that are extinct because people would eat them and stuff like
Right.
that. Ships
Yeah.
would stop, but now they're
Yeah.
rejuvenating the
It
population.
was cool. It was really cool.
Well, and then Easter Island, that's way down south. That is way down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it's
way
all
up.
kind of by itself, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 2,000 miles off the coast. We flew into Santiago, Chile, and then you catch another plane 2,000 miles straight out into the ocean.
And,
Wow.
and people we met from Chile there, they said, this is beautiful here, but you need to go to southern Chile. And we want to do that someday and go down and
Chile's
go.
really long, yeah.
They said it's just gorgeous, and we don't. And here in America, you don't see much about those countries and learn much about them. And I want to go back and see Uruguay and those Patagonia. Those would be beautiful places to visit, I think.
That was part of the adventure of that trip was we get all the way to Santiago and then clear out to Easter Island. And I look at my Apple AirTags, and our suitcase was in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm like, that's like half a world away, And
Right.
I talked to some people at the airport there in Hangaro.
Yeah, Hangaro.
Hangaro. And the guy worked on it, and he said, "Yep, they're there." I said, "Okay, how do we get them here?" And through a lot of help, he got them back and to our hotel the next day.
Not bad.
No, that was amazing.
We
And
usually just travel with our black holes,
Yeah.
and so we carry-ons. But this time we actually had a suitcase free, so we thought, well, let's
Right.
do a suitcase,
Yeah.
And I was smart.
Should have done the carry-on.
Yeah, I was smart. In my carry-on, I had a change of clothes, but you had forgotten to do that.
Hey,
So I
I
was
can
like,
wear
"No."
underwear for days on it. Doesn't matter.
So the question I have is for everyone who's listening. There are people out there who haven't done a lot of travel, and I feel like I'm one of those people, even though I know it's not true if I make that list, Cindy. But I feel like I've not traveled in a while, and you start to get this feeling like, well, what about the language barrier? What if the food doesn't work for me? What are the facilities going to be like? It's easy to start talking yourself out of it, and I think more so as we age. We get
Right.
stuck in our ways sometimes if we're not careful. So you've been doing a lot of travel.
Mm-hmm.
What advice do you give to people who are starting to wonder if it's worth it?
Don't worry about it. I mean, luckily, about wherever we go, people speak some sort of English, whether
Right.
it's good or bad, because we don't speak their language. But people are amazing, and just
There's translators on your phone.
yeah, you got Google Translate if you get desperate. But people are just so nice.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere we've gone, because we were in Southeast Asia, I don't know, a year ago or something like that, and people are just so doggone nice.
And I think too, you plan a little bit for problems. So like, I'm like in my carry-on, I have the diarrhea medicine. I have
Oh, yeah.
all kinds of little things that you plan for. Okay, well, what happens if this happens? Well, okay, I take some Imodium, or what happens? I have some granola bars along with me. I have food allergies, so I had to be really careful everywhere I go that I don't eat anything with red dye because I am allergic to that. And I've been I was in the hospital in Iceland because of it.
Wow.
You got to kind of roll with the punches, but I guess don't be a person that lets it get under your nerves and then you're grouchy, because there's nothing like a grouchy traveler. I
Yeah.
mean, you gotta,
What's the point?
yeah, I mean, every once in a while you'll see somebody like that and they're just grouchy, and I'm thinking, it's there's too much beauty and too much fun. Get over it, Don't be a grouchy traveler. People respond, and I tell this to Curt because sometimes he gets frustrated in the airports. I'm like, people respond to a smile and a thank you so much better than when you're yelling at them. You know? Or when you're upset about something. Not that he does yell or anything like that, but I'm a very positive
Yeah.
type of person anyway. And, okay, so we're here 5 hours extra. Let's walk around, let's get our 10,000 steps here, and
Yeah.
We took my mother to Italy one time, and the trains in Italy are notorious for not running on schedule or going on strike. And every time that would happen, my mom would say, "Oh, it's just another adventure."
you
Like,
got to learn that.
There you go.
it
Yeah.
was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Well, if you expect that things won't go as you expect, then it makes for a better trip.
It
Right.
does.
It's like, I'm here to experience the experience,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And people, you hear this all the time, but I think it's such a great thing. If an airplane takes off from Seattle and wants to go to Miami, it's never on course that entire flight.
Yeah. Right.
It's constantly correcting, so it eventually gets to Miami, but it's never perfectly on course. It's the course corrections that get it there. And when we think of travel as it's a series of course corrections,
Yeah,
it's an
that's-
adventure of experiences,
Good
right?
point.
Yeah.
That I think we enjoy it more that way.
Oh,
Yeah.
And you learn, I think every trip that we've gone on has been a learning thing. And it's wonderful to learn at any age. And, even if you look and find one positive thing, it's worth it.
That's cool. So the name of your podcast again?
Adventure Retired. All one word. The RE at the end of adventure is the
First part of
RE
retired.
of retired.
So like I said, it's Adventure Tired, if you can't remember.
Hey.
Yeah, we are. Definitely.
No, I think that's great. It's a fun name. So people can hear more about your adventures and other people's adventures there,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Lots of travel tips, I'm sure.
But
You
it-
learn places you want to go.
And it's
But we
not just
just-
about travel. It's also about other things, caregiving
Yeah.
and hobbies and
whatever, like the one that released yesterday, lady was a big city lawyer, Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C., and all that. And once she got out of law, she's now running or working in an art studio in small town Iowa. And
There you go.
yeah, it's just
that's
fun.
her second act, so to speak. But, she's doing something, and that's great. That's really
Life itself is the adventure.
You're
we have to
right.
remember that.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. Every day
Wow.
is an adventure.
Especially with her. She just, oh, man.
And let me tell you, this year is 40 years for us being married.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh,
what-
congratulations.
yeah,
That's
so
great.
It's been I don't remember the first 30, but maybe that's a reason.
That's a good thing, probably.
Maybe it's time to get out the paper and start writing it down again.
Yeah.
Well, life is amazing.
Yes,
Life
it
is
is.
amazing. And let's finish up with this one. I want to hear from each of you. What is a life well lived? This is for the 20-somethings out there who are trying to answer that question for themselves.
All right.
You've got 40 years on these people. What is a life well lived?
I think a life well lived is choosing a partner, if you decide that's the route you want to go, that you can trust and will be there to help you when you struggle and push you into something that you might have to think about before you do it. But having a partner that pushes you but still supports you all the way.
Yeah, yeah. I'm all about family. We have 2 daughters that
Yeah.
I see why people have 10, 15 kids. I love my kids so much, and to see them happy and going through life and having their own little adventures, that's just everything for me.
Yeah.
So, I don't
That's
know if
great.
the answer people want to hear. Some people, I don't want kids, but
Well, and that's okay. I think you don't have to want kids.
Yeah.
You have to be true to yourself and just
it's your choice.
do what makes you happy, but also realize that sometimes you have to wait for that. You have to earn it, or you have to
Work for
work
it.
for it, and that's life, and that makes it sweeter. It really does. That delayed gratification, I don't care what it is, whether it's a $2,000 purse or a tattoo or a trip to Antarctica or, whatever it is that you want right now, if you could just delay it for half a year and work for it more, it's going to make it sweeter.
That's true.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us.
Appreciate it.
And I mean, you're encouraging me you're encouraging me to do more, to get
That's
out
right.
there and do more, because those life experiences are what it's about. Memories are worth more than gold.
You
Yeah,
bet.
that's about the only thing you can keep when you die, I think, is
Yeah.
your memories.
I
you
tell
know?
that to Curl. It's like, because we did well, and I said, we can spend the money now, or our girls get to do it. Okay, let's spend the money, and I
Yeah.
still want to help them out too a little bit, but hey, let's live our life too.
Oh, we are. We are.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Thank you for your time today, Cindy and
Yeah.
Curt.
Appreciate
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I'm a little bit envious,
Well,
I have to say. It sounds
You're a
like
young
such
man,
an
you got
incredible
lifetime.
life.
Yep.
So,
You sound like you're rocking it too, though, with your camping and your mountaineering and
Africa
everything.
coming
yeah,
up.
in Africa.
Yeah.
oh well, hey, I believe in the close at home adventures, and of course I made my home where the adventure was I wanted to do. That also helps a ton.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah, it does.
That helps a ton.
You
You
bet.
can have
Anyway.
adventures in your own backyard.
That's what we always say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever come to Colorado, stop in.
I
We'll take
know,
you on an
I
adventure
love
around
it.
here
All
somewhere.
right.
Sounds good.
Okay. For everyone out there, plan ahead a little bit, have big dreams, dream more than one thing at a time, but do get out there and have some fun.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's good advice.
Great.